Kelly, I'm going to pass this one off to you, but identifying or mapping your lead funnel.
Yeah, okay. So I guess maybe we can start with why it's important to do this in the first place and why it's important to understand your lead funnel. And that's because first, it's going to help you tailor your messaging to different stages of the funnel and different stages of that journey. So like we mentioned, someone who is ready to, submit through the inquiry form may not be ready to sign up to your space, and having that funnel mapped is going to then allow you to eventually create automations for different stages of that funnel. But it also helps you understand the conversion rate of one part of the journey to the next. And what that allows you to do is understand where people are dropping off and understand if you have a leaky funnel, which is maybe a lot of people are booking a tour, but they're not completing it. Or a lot of people are completing a tour, but you have a low conversion rate of people who are, booking a day pass or signing up for a free trial or whatever that is. So understanding that journey, understanding the conversion of one stage to the next is then going to allow you to understand where you need to be spending your efforts in order to optimize and get more out of the activities that you're doing. So it's a really important exercise. The way that we like to approach it at Optix is first you're going to identify your account types. Then you will map your milestones, and then you're going to design an automation for each one of those milestones.
Exactly. So I guess maybe more of a visual. If you're a visual learner like me, you can see the horizontal map that we're designing here. So for instance, this is an example, maybe more of an organization that has a gated community. So you are requiring an inquiry form or an application before you let that member purchase their membership or a day pass. And you might have as well a different definition of a lead. So that's one thing to also understand is that, some people still consider a day pass user as a lead because it's such a small part of their business, and what they're really focused on is memberships. We're really focusing on that lead versus member as the line I mentioned previously, where the user goes from unconfirmed to active. So we're focusing on here, the unconfirmed bucket. So in this instance, again, they've completed an inquiry form, and that might be the first stage or the account type you can see above, which is inquired. Using an automation, you might want to then send them an email to say, hey, thanks so much for completing your form. Now your next step is to book a tour with us. And maybe that's the first instance of when you share the tour booking link. You might not even have the tour booking link on your website if you always require an application first. So let's say they now come in and they've booked their tour. You're changing that account type to tour booked. Once the tour has been completed, again, that's the next stage of the journey here. Account type number 3, tour completed. And once they've completed that tour, you got to know them, you think they're great, you're going to say, you're welcome to purchase any membership, and you're moving them into a qualified lead. From there, maybe you also have additional steps or opportunities, including a trial day. And so again, knowing what all the different stages are of your business, you might even be doing this like as you're listening, starting to think about what are those steps, and then thinking about all the account types that go with that. And you can see again here, when you have that horizontal map of the entire lead journey or the funnel, you're going to essentially be building out automations vertically underneath each one of those milestones. So every different account type could have a different nurturing sequence. And the account type in Optix actually functions as a bit of it kind of works as like the pivot or keeps everything either in the automation or it takes the user out of that automation. So for example, if you have somebody, as you can see also on this, all the little icons that follow underneath tour booked, for example, you've got the first one which is an action, and the second one is a little yellow with a triangle. That's your condition. So you're using conditions and automations to say, has this tour been completed? Is this person, still a lead? And that's what's keeping them in this automation. And when their account type changes, that's what would then take them out. So I'll give you an example. Hopefully that will make a little bit more sense once we dive in. But in terms of your strategy, taking that funnel along a horizontal line and building your automations vertically underneath each different